The space station of Nova Aurora was a refuge for mercenaries, traders, and travelers from the most remote parts of the universe. Marcus, a terrestrial mercenary, sat in one of the busiest bars, enjoying a rare moment of rest. His gaze wandered through the familiar environment of hardened faces and whispered conversations. He was used to solitude and fighting, preferring to stay away from the causes and politics that moved the universe. While Marcus savored his drink, a figure wrapped in a cloak entered the bar, attracting curious glances. The figure approached him, lifting the hood to reveal a woman's face of ethereal beauty. Her eyes shone with a determination that seemed capable of piercing through space itself. "Are you Marcus?" she asked, her voice soft but laden with urgency. He raised an eyebrow, quickly analyzing her. "Depends on who's asking. I am Eloria, the exiled queen of Thaler. I need your help." The mention of her title made Marcus sit up straighter in his chair. He had heard rumors about the coup in Thaler and the queen's desperate escape. His curiosity was instantly piqued, but he maintained an impassive expression. "Go on," he said, motioning for her to sit. Eloria sat and began to tell her story, describing the treacherous General Crather who, through a bloody coup, seized control of Thaler. She spoke of the beauty of her planet, now under the yoke of an oppressive regime, and her burning desire to free her people. "I know you are a mercenary," said Eloria, "but I need someone with your skills. Someone who can lead my rebels and help me reclaim my throne. In return, I offer a generous reward." Marcus remained silent for a moment, contemplating the offer. His life as a mercenary gave him few reasons to care about other people's causes. However, there was something in Eloria's eyes, a mixture of passion and desperation, that touched him unexpectedly. "How many men do you have?" he finally asked. "Not many, but they are loyal," Eloria replied. "With your training and leadership, we might stand a chance." He sighed, seeing the resolve in her eyes. "All right, Queen Eloria. I accept. Let's free your people." Eloria smiled, a glimmer of hope lighting up her face for the first time in a long time. "Thank you, Marcus. You will not regret it." As she stood up to leave, Marcus felt a wave of determination. This would be more than just another job for him, it would be a chance to make a difference, to fight for something greater than himself. And for the first time in years, he allowed himself to believe that maybe, just maybe, he could be the hero Thaler needed. Eloria's rebel base was hidden on a desolate moon on the outskirts of Thaler. Marcus arrived at the location in a discreet ship, greeted by a group of suspicious but determined rebels. He could see the resolve in their eyes, the same he had seen in Eloria. These were men and women ready to fight to the end. Eloria introduced Marcus to the rebel leaders. "This is Marcus," she said, her voice firm and confident. "He will be our commander and help plan our reconquest." The rebels murmured among themselves, some skeptical, but most hopeful. Marcus raised his hand for silence and began to speak. "I know it won't be easy," he said. "But with training, strategy, and above all, unity, we can win. We need to be fast, precise, and ruthless." In the following weeks, Marcus dedicated himself to training the rebels. He taught guerrilla tactics, combat strategies, and infiltration techniques. Under his leadership, the rebels began to transform from a scattered group into a cohesive and disciplined force. During the training, two figures stood out, Lyra and Zara. Lyra was a brilliant strategist, capable of anticipating the enemy's moves and devising complex plans. Zara, on the other hand, was an unstoppable warrior, with unparalleled skill in close combat. "These two are my best," Eloria said to Marcus as they watched the training exercise. "They are loyal and skilled and would give their lives for this cause." "We'll need all their skills," Marcus replied. "They will be crucial to our mission." With the training underway, Marcus and Eloria began to draft a detailed plan for the infiltration and attack on the palace. Marcus studied old maps of the palace, identifying weak points and infiltration routes. "We need a two-pronged approach," Marcus explained during a strategy meeting. "One group will create a distraction at the main gate, while another group, led by me, will infiltrate through the underground tunnels. We'll catch Crather by surprise. Preparations advanced quickly, and Marcus saw confidence growing among the rebels. They were ready to fight for their queen and their home. On the eve of the attack, Eloria gathered all the rebels for one last word. "Tomorrow, we fight for our freedom," she declared. "We fight for our families, for our future. Let the courage of our hearts and the strength of our arms guide us to victory." The rebels cheered fervently, ready to face the challenge that awaited them. Marcus, observing the scene, felt a wave of determination. He knew this would be a tough battle, but he was determined to give everything to help Eloria reclaim her throne. He met the gaze of Lyra and Zara, both with fierce determination in their eyes, and knew that together they could triumph. The early morning was enveloped in a tense silence as Marcus led the infiltration team through the dense vegetation surrounding the palace. The full moon illuminated their path, but they moved in the shadows, avoiding Crather's patrols. Eloria had described the underground tunnels leading to the palace's interior, and Marcus knew this was their best chance for success. Lyra was beside him, studying a hologram of the palace map. "We're almost there," she whispered. "The entrance to the tunnel should be just ahead." Zara, always vigilant, watched their surroundings. "We need to be quick. The distraction won't last forever." Finally, they found the tunnel entrance, hidden among rocks and vegetation. Marcus signaled for everyone to enter quietly. The tunnels were dark and damp, but the group's determination was unwavering. Eloria led the second part of the group, ensuring the queen was protected as they moved through the narrow passages. Inside the palace, the situation was tense. Crather had reinforced the defenses, but he was confident no attack could penetrate his lines. He underestimated the courage and skill of the rebels led by Marcus. The group advanced with military precision, encountering sporadic guards and deactivating traps along the way. Lyra used her strategic knowledge to guide the group, while Zara neutralized enemies with lethal efficiency. As they approached the heart of the palace, resistance increased. More numerous and better equipped guards blocked their path. Marcus knew the element of surprise was quickly fading. "We need to fight our way to the throne room," said Marcus. "Crather must be confronted directly." They advanced, fighting in tight corridors, the intensity of combat increasing with each step. Marcus led the attack, his combat skill inspiring the surrounding rebels. Lyra and Zara fought by his side, their abilities perfectly complementing his. Finally, they reached the throne room. The imposing doors were heavily guarded, but the rebels' determination was unbreakable. With a coordinated explosion, they breached the doors and stormed the room. Crather was there, seated on the throne, his expression quickly turning from surprise to fury. "How dare you invade my palace?" he roared, standing up. Eloria, with the dignity of a true queen, stepped forward to face him. "You took what is not yours, Crather. Today, I reclaim my throne and free my people from your tyranny." Crather laughed derisively. "You think you can defeat me, Eloria? Even with these humans?" Before he could finish, Marcus charged, initiating a fierce duel. Crather's combat skills were formidable, but Marcus fought with the strength of someone who had finally found a greater purpose. The clash of blades echoed through the room, while Lyra and Zara kept Crather's guards at bay. The battle was intense, but the rebels' strategic superiority and unity prevailed. With a decisive move, Marcus disarmed Crather, forcing him to kneel before Eloria. "Your reign of terror is over," declared Marcus, panting. Eloria, with a firm expression, nodded. "Take him away. He will face the justice of Thaler." With Crather defeated, the throne room filled with jubilant rebels. Eloria ascended to the throne, her presence radiating hope and determination. "Today, we begin to rebuild Thaler," she said. "With courage, unity, and the sacrifice of many, we have reclaimed our freedom." Marcus, standing beside Lyra and Zara, watched with pride as the people celebrated. He knew this was just the beginning of a new era for Thaler. The tension in the throne room was palpable. Eloria, now firm in her position of leadership, looked at Crather, whose fury and despair were evident. Around them, the rebels prepared for what would be the decisive battle. "Crather, you betrayed your own people," said Illyrio with a firm voice. "Today, you will pay for your crimes." Crather, with a sarcastic smile, abruptly stood up, taking advantage of a moment of distraction to pull out a hidden weapon. He fired at Illyria, but Marcus, with quick reflexes, pushed her aside, taking the brunt of the attack. The shot grazed his arm, burning his skin. "Well, well, the human hero," Crather sneered, preparing for an all-out attack. "You really think you can defeat me?" "I'm not alone," Marcus responded determinedly. He exchanged a quick glance with Lyra and Zara, and the three positioned themselves for the final confrontation. The room exploded into chaos. Crather attacked with blind fury, his guards moving to support him. Lyra used her strategic intelligence to coordinate the rebels, while Zara fought with unmatched ferocity. Despite the pain from his wound, Marcus advanced with deadly precision. Crather and Marcus engaged in a fierce duel. Crather's skills were impressive, but Marcus was driven by something greater than himself. Each strike was calculated, every move synchronized with a clear strategy. Meanwhile, Lyra and Zara confronted Crather's guards. Lyra, with her sharp mind, found gaps in the enemy's defenses, guiding the rebels through the weakest points. Zara, with her prowess in close combat, took down opponents with brutal efficiency. At the height of the battle, Crather managed to push Marcus against a wall, holding him by the throat. "You don't understand what's at stake here, human," he said, his face contorted with hatred. Marcus, struggling to breathe, looked directly into Crather's eyes. "I understand more than you think. I understand what it means to fight for something bigger than oneself." With a final effort, Marcus broke free and delivered a decisive blow, disarming Crather and forcing him to kneel. Before Crather could react, the rebels surrounded him, ensuring he had no chance to escape. Illyria advanced, her presence imposing. "Crather, for the blood you shed and the suffering you caused, you will be judged and punished according to the laws of Thaler." Crather's remaining guards, seeing their leader defeated, laid down their arms. The battle was over, but the impact of the confrontation would reverberate for a long time. As Crather was taken away by the rebels, Illyria turned to Marcus, Lyra, and Zara. "The three of you were crucial to our victory," she said, gratitude in her eyes. "Today, we not only reclaimed our throne but also reaffirmed our commitment to freedom and justice." Marcus, still panting and with his arm bleeding, nodded. "It was an honor to fight by your side, my queen. But our mission is far from over. We need to rebuild what was destroyed." Illyria smiled, a look of relief and determination. "Yes, Marcus. And with you by my side, I know we can succeed." The throne room filled with celebration. Rebels and allies rejoiced in their victory, embracing and expressing gratitude. Marcus, Lyra, and Zara remained close, a deep bond formed through the shared battle. As the celebrations continued, Illyria addressed the people of Thaler. "Today, we begin a new era of peace and prosperity. Together, we will build a better future for all." Marcus looked at Lyra and Zara, seeing the same sense of accomplishment and hope in their eyes. They knew this was just the beginning of a greater journey. The fight for justice and freedom would continue, but now, with a new family and a greater cause, they were ready to face any challenge. The throne room, now secure, became the epicenter of a new era for Thaler. Illyria, sitting on the restored throne, looked at her people with a mix of pride and determination. News of Crather's defeat spread quickly, bringing back those who had hidden or fled during the oppressive regime. Illyria stood, gesturing for Marcus, Lyra, and Zara to join her. "Today, we have regained our freedom and our home. But the true rebuilding begins now. We need courageous leaders capable of guiding our people through the challenges to come." The people cheered, their faces filled with hope. Marcus, still recovering from his injuries, felt a new responsibility weighing on his shoulders. He was no longer just a mercenary, now, he was a hero to people who needed him. "Marcus," Illyria continued, "your courage and leadership were essential to our victory. In recognition of your deeds and the alliance we have formed, I wish to honor you in a way that symbolizes our unity. She turned to Lyra and Zara, who stood beside Marcus. My most loyal subjects, Lyra and Zara, have shown unwavering dedication. To seal this new era of cooperation and prosperity, I offer you their hands in marriage. There was a murmur of surprise and approval among the crowd. Marcus looked at Eloria, then at Lyra and Zara. The two women stood firm, their eyes full of determination and acceptance. They knew this union would symbolize more than a mere marriage. It would be an alliance between cultures, a sign of hope for all. Marcus nodded, understanding the depth of the gesture. It would be an honor, he said sincerely. Preparations for the wedding ceremony began immediately. The news spread quickly, attracting dignitaries and allies from across the galaxy. Everyone wanted to witness the union that symbolized a new era for Thaler. Eloria, overseeing the preparations, felt more confident than ever. She knew that with Marcus, Lyra, and Zara by her side, Thaler had a bright future ahead. On the night before the ceremony, Marcus met with Eloria in one of the palace halls. "Are you sure about this?" he asked, still processing the magnitude of the offer. Eloria smiled. "I am, Marcus. This union will strengthen our bonds and show the universe that Thaler is committed to peace and collaboration. You and your wives will be a symbol of our determination and our hope." Marcus looked at Eloria, admiring her wisdom and courage. "I will do my best to honor this responsibility." "I know you will," said Eloria, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Together, we will build a better future." The next day, the ceremony was grand. The palace halls were adorned with flowers and lights, and the people of Thaler, along with allies from other parts of the universe, gathered to celebrate. Eloria presided over the ceremony, her words full of hope and determination. "Today, we not only unite two hearts but also two cultures," declared Eloria. Together, Marcus, Lyra, and Zara symbolized the new era of Thaler. An era of cooperation, peace, and prosperity. Marcus, dressed in ceremonial attire that combined terrestrial and Thalorian elements, looked at Lyra and Zara. They were radiant, their clothes reflecting the beauty and strength of their culture. "I promise, before all, to honor and protect you," said Marcus, holding the hands of Lyra and Zara. "Together, we will build a future of peace and hope." Lyra and Zara, with smiles of determination, repeated their vows. "We promise, Marcus, to honor and support you. Together, we will face any challenge and build a better future for all." With these words, the ceremony concluded, and the throne room filled with applause and celebrations. Marcus, Lyra, and Zara, now united, were ready to face the future together as leaders and symbols of a new era for Thaler. The celebration of Marcus, Lyra, and Zara's union marked the beginning of a new era for Thaler. The ceremony symbolized not only the union of individuals but also the merging of different cultures and worlds. Eloria watched with satisfaction as the crowd celebrated, feeling a renewal of hope in her heart. In the days that followed, Marcus, Lyra, and Zara adjusted to the new dynamics of their relationship and the responsibilities that came with it. Eloria called a meeting in the Grand Hall of the palace, where the rebel leaders and main advisors gathered to discuss the next steps in rebuilding Thaler. "We have much work ahead," began Eloria. "The victory over Crather was only the beginning. We need to rebuild our infrastructure, strengthen our defenses, and ensure that our people have the resources they need to thrive." Marcus, now a respected advisor and military leader, added, "We also need to establish strong alliances with other worlds. The threat of new attacks is still real, and collaboration will be essential for our security." Lyra, with her strategic mind, proposed an economic revitalization plan that included trade partnerships and investments in advanced technology. "We can use our natural resources sustainably to strengthen our economy and ensure a prosperous future for Thaler." Zara, always focused on defense and security, suggested improvements in the armed forces and the formation of an interplanetary defense force. "We must be ready for any threat, whether internal or external. Unity and preparedness are our best defense." Eloria listened attentively, admiring the wisdom and dedication of the new leaders beside her. I agree with all these proposals, she said. Let's start implementing them immediately. Together, we will make Thaler a beacon of hope and prosperity. In the following days, Marcus, Lyra, and Zara worked tirelessly to put the plans into action. Marcus led efforts to form alliances, traveling to other worlds and negotiating agreements that would benefit Thaler. Lyra oversaw the economic revitalization, ensuring that resources were used efficiently and sustainably. Zara coordinated the training of the defense forces, preparing them for any eventuality. As they worked together, the bonds between Marcus, Lyra, and Zara deepened. They shared not only a commitment to Thaler, but also mutual love and respect that grew stronger each day. They became not only partners in leadership, but also a true family united by a common purpose. One evening, while watching the stars from the palace terrace, Marcus spoke of his hopes for the future. We have achieved much, but there is still much more to do. Thaler has incredible potential, and together, we can achieve extraordinary things. Lyra smiled, placing a hand on his shoulder. We are ready to face any challenge, together. Zara nodded, her gaze firm and determined. And we will do so side by side, always. With these words, they embraced, further strengthening their bond. Thaler's journey of rebuilding had only just begun, but with their unity and determination, they knew they could overcome any obstacle. The day of the wedding ceremony arrived with great expectation and excitement. The palace was adorned with exotic flowers and bright lights, reflecting the beauty and culture of Thaler. Guests from all over the galaxy, including dignitaries, allies, and Thaler citizens, gathered to witness the union that symbolized a new era of peace and prosperity. Eloria, dressed in a resplendent ceremonial robe, presided over the ceremony with an aura of majesty and serenity. Soft music filled the air as Marcus, wearing an elegant combination of terrestrial and Thalorian attire, walked down the aisle towards the altar. He felt a mixture of nervousness and joy, knowing that this moment marked a new chapter in his life. Lyra and Zara followed closely behind, each wearing outfits that combined traditional elements of Thaler with personal touches. Lyra, in a dress adorned with symbols of wisdom and leadership, reflected her strategic and intellectual nature. Zara, in ceremonial armor encrusted with jewels, represented her strength and unwavering courage. They walked with grace and determination, ready to join Marcus in a sacred bond. Eloria began the ceremony with words of deep wisdom and hope. Today, we do not just celebrate the union of three individuals, but also the union of two worlds, two cultures. This marriage symbolizes our dedication to peace, collaboration, and the bright future we will build together. The guests applauded as Marcus, Lyra, and Zara positioned themselves at the altar, facing each other. Eloria continued, Marcus, Lyra, and Zara, you have committed to lead our people with courage, wisdom, and love. Today, you strengthen that commitment through this union. Marcus took Lyra and Zara's hands, looking into their eyes. I promise to honor and protect you, Lyra and Zara, with all my strength. Together, we will build a future of peace and prosperity for Thaler. Lyra, with a serene smile, responded, I promise, Marcus, to support and guide you, using my wisdom to strengthen our people and our union. Zara, with determination in her gaze, completed, I promise, Marcus, to fight by your side, protecting our family and our people with all my courage and dedication. Eloria then presented the rings, symbols of eternal union. Marcus placed the rings on Lyra and Zara's fingers, and they did the same for him, sealing their commitment before everyone. With these vows, I declare you united in marriage, proclaimed Eloria. May this union be blessed, and may you lead our people to a future of light and hope together. The applause and cheers filled the throne room as Marcus, Lyra, and Zara embraced, feeling the strength of the moment and the weight of their responsibilities. The ceremony continued with exuberant celebrations, traditional dances, and banquets that reflected Thaler's rich culture. The guests congratulated the newlyweds, expressing their hope and support. Marcus, Lyra, and Zara felt deeply grateful for the affection and trust they received. They knew they had a long road ahead, but they were ready to face any challenge together. As the night wore on, Marcus, Lyra, and Zara found a moment of quiet on the palace terrace, watching the stars twinkle in the sky. "This is just the beginning," said Marcus, holding his wife's hands. "We have much to do, but I know that together, we can achieve anything." Lyra nodded, her voice soft. "Yes, we have a bright future ahead, full of possibilities and challenges. And we will face them all together." Zara, with a resolute look, added, "And we will do so with courage and determination, protecting our people and our home." With these words, they shared a moment of silence, feeling the depth of their union and the commitment they had to each other and to Thaler. The journey had just begun, but with their unity, they knew they could face any adversity and build a future of peace and prosperity. With the wedding ceremony still fresh in everyone's memory, Marcus, Lyra, and Zara plunged headfirst into the monumental task of rebuilding Thaler. The throne room, once the scene of battles and strategic planning, now transformed into a command center for the planet's revitalization. Marcus, with his military experience, took the lead in forming new interplanetary alliances. He visited neighboring planets, negotiating trade and defense agreements that would strengthen Thaler. Each visit was an opportunity to share Thaler's story of resistance and unity, inspiring other worlds to collaborate with them. Meanwhile, Lyra dedicated herself to the planet's economic revitalization. She organized meetings with community leaders, traders, and technology experts, outlining detailed plans for the sustainable use of Thaler's natural resources. "We need to ensure our economic growth does not come at the cost of the environment," she said, reiterating the importance of balanced development. Zara focused on security and defense. She reorganized and trained Thaler's armed forces, ensuring they were prepared for any future threat. Her rigorous methods and passion for protecting the people were evident in every training session. "Our peace depends on our strength and vigilance," she reminded her soldiers. The hard work began to bear fruit quickly. The alliances Marcus formed brought valuable resources and expertise to Thaler. Lyra's economic initiatives stimulated local production and promoted technological innovation. And the defense forces reorganized by Zara proved ready and capable of protecting the planet. Eloria, observing the progress, felt increasingly confident in her kingdom's future. "You have transformed Thaler into an example of resilience and collaboration," she said during a council meeting. "I am proud of all of you." One sunny afternoon, Marcus, Lyra, and Zara found a moment to reflect in the palace gardens. Exotic flowers bloomed around them, a symbol of the renewal occurring throughout the planet. "We have done much, but there is still much more to do," said Marcus, looking at the horizon. "Yes," agreed Lyra. "We need to continue building on this foundation, ensuring Thaler becomes a beacon of hope for other worlds." Zara, always practical, added, "And we must remain vigilant. The threats may not be immediate, but we can never lower our guard." As they conversed, children played in the gardens, laughing and running among the flowers. For Marcus, Lyra, and Zara, it was a constant reminder of why they were fighting, to ensure a safe and prosperous future for the next generations. That night, on the palace terrace, while observing the stars, Marcus spoke with a contemplative tone. "We are only at the beginning of our journey, but with the strength of our union, we can achieve anything." Lyra and Zara agreed, their hearts full of hope and determination. They knew that, together, they could face any challenge and build a bright future for Thaler. With Thaler flourishing under the new leadership, Marcus, Lyra, and Zara continued to work tirelessly to consolidate improvements and ensure lasting peace. Their daily routine involved strategic meetings, training sessions, and visits to communities across the planet. During one such visit, Marcus and his wives were warmly received by a small village in Thaler's mountains. The people expressed their gratitude for the newly regained freedom and the opportunities that were emerging. "You have given us hope," said an elder of the village. "For the first time in years, we believe the future will be better." The elder's words deeply moved Marcus. He knew the battle to reclaim the throne had been only the first step. It's our responsibility to ensure that this hope becomes reality, he said to Lyra and Zara as they returned to the palace. Lyra, always thoughtful, replied, "We need to continue working together, involving more communities and encouraging everyone's participation in building this future." Zara nodded. "Security must be maintained, but we also need education and development to strengthen the foundations of our society." Back at the palace, Eloria called a council meeting to discuss the next steps. "Our progress is evident," she began. "But we cannot afford to rest. There is still much to be done to ensure Thaler remains strong and prosperous." During the meeting, Marcus presented a plan to create exchange programs with allied planets. These exchanges will bring new ideas and technologies, as well as strengthen our diplomatic ties, he explained. Lyra proposed the creation of a council of community leaders to ensure all voices in Thaler were heard. "This will promote active participation of the people in the governance and development of our planet," she said. Zara, focused on defense, suggested forming an interplanetary guard, composed of soldiers from Thaler and allied planets. This will ensure a robust defense and a quick response to any future threat. The proposals were well received, and Eloria expressed her unconditional support. "You are shaping Thaler's future with wisdom and vision. I am confident we are on the right path." With the new plans in motion, Thaler's leadership team worked even harder to implement the initiatives. The exchange of knowledge and culture brought new vitality to the planet, and the active participation of communities strengthened social cohesion. One night, after a long day of work, Marcus, Lyra, and Zara met on the palace terrace as they had done so many times before. The stars shone brightly in the clear sky, and a gentle breeze blew. "We are making a difference," said Marcus, looking at his wives. "Every day, Thaler becomes stronger and more united." "That's true," agreed Lyra. "But we must not forget that our work never ends. We must always seek ways to improve and protect our home." Zara, always the warrior, added, "And we will be ready for any challenge that comes. Together, we are invincible." As they watched the night sky, they felt a sense of accomplishment, but also the awareness that the journey was far from over. They had planted the seeds of a bright future and were determined to nurture this growth with love, courage, and dedication. Time passed, and Thaler continued to prosper under Marcus, Lyra, and Zara's leadership. The alliance with other planets strengthened, bringing new technologies and ideas that benefited everyone. The Interplanetary Guard, formed by soldiers from Thaler and allied worlds, ensured the planet's security and promoted peace in the region. However, despite the success, there were murmurs of a new threat. Reports of suspicious activities in Thaler's peripheral regions began arriving at the palace. Spies reported a mysterious group organizing, seemingly unhappy with the new established order. In an emergency council meeting, Eloria expressed her concern. "We cannot ignore these signs. We must investigate and, if necessary, neutralize this threat before it becomes a bigger problem." Marcus, Lyra, and Zara agreed. "We need to act quickly," said Marcus. "We'll send a reconnaissance team to gather more information." Lyra suggested a diplomatic approach. "If possible, we should try to understand their grievances and resolve conflicts peacefully. Thaler must be an example of justice and dialogue." Zara, always the pragmatist, emphasized the importance of being prepared for any eventuality. "We must keep our defenses on high alert. We cannot underestimate the potential danger." While the reconnaissance team departed, Marcus, Lyra, and Zara continued to work tirelessly, ensuring that Thaler's improvements proceeded without interruption. However, the tension was palpable. They knew Thaler's stability depended on their ability to handle this new threat effectively. One night, while discussing the latest reports, a messenger arrived at the palace with urgent news. "We've discovered the rebel group's location," he said, handing over a detailed map. "They are organizing in the northern caves and seem well equipped." Marcus frowned. "We need to act now, before they have the chance to strike." Lyra, always the strategist, devised a plan. "We'll send a group of diplomats first, with an armed escort. We'll try to negotiate, but we'll be prepared to defend ourselves if necessary. Zara would lead the escort, ensuring the diplomat's safety. I'll make sure our approach is firm but fair. If there's any sign of aggression, we'll be ready to respond. The next day, the mission set out under Zara's leadership, with Lyra overseeing the operation from a distance and Marcus coordinating efforts at the palace. Tension was high, but there was hope for a peaceful resolution. The team of diplomats and soldiers arrived at the caves and established contact with the rebel group. To everyone's surprise, they found that many of the rebels were former followers of Crather, still resentful of their leader's downfall. However, the rebel leaders were willing to talk. "We want justice for our people," said one of the leaders. "We are not against Thaler, but we feel we have been neglected." The negotiation was tense but productive. Lyra, through communications, helped mediate an agreement that promised to integrate the rebels into Thaler's new order, offering them opportunities to participate in the planet's governance and development. Back at the palace, news of the agreement brought relief. Marcus, Lyra, and Zara knew that the path to peace and prosperity was continuous and full of challenges, but they were ready to face them together. While watching the stars that night, Marcus spoke with determination. "Today, we secured another step towards a better future. But our work is far from over." Lyra and Zara agreed, their hearts filled with hope and resolve. "We'll always be ready," said Lyra. "And we'll do it together," added Zara, with a confident smile. Thaler's journey continued, with new challenges and adventures ahead. But with their unity and determination, Marcus, Lyra, and Zara were ready for anything the future held.